again to my YouTube channel. This is day 2 of JAMB 2025. From the question that I got from my student that wrote today, I decided to bring it up here to my community so that I can look at the questions and answer them. Peradventure, you see the same question in your exam or something similar to it, because we all know that JAMB repeats questions. If you're watching this channel for the first time and you are yet to subscribe to this channel, you have a lot to gain. With no further ado, let's get right into the questions. Question 1. The gravitational pull between two bodies is 20 Newton. Find the gravitational pull when their distance of separation is doubled. And we have the following options. Option A. We have the following options. Option A, 20 Newton. Option B, 13 Newton. Option C, 10 Newton. Option D, 5 Newton. Now, for us to be able to solve this, we must know that there's a relationship connecting the force, which is gravitational force, and what? The distance. And that relationship is what? F is proportional to 1 over what? R square. Okay? Because you should know that Coulomb's law is an inverse square law. And law of universal gravitation is also an inverse square law. So since we have something like this, we can say that what? We equate by saying that F is equal to K over R square, right? So we can say that FR square is equal to what? A constant, which results to saying F1 R square 1 is equal to what? F2 R square 2. Is that okay? Now this is the formula you're going to use to solve this particular what? Problem. So let's go. From the question, we are given that the gravitational force is 20 Newton. That is what? F1 is what? 20 Newton, right? Now we say you should find the gravitational pull when their distance between them is doubled. Now they did not give us the first distance, so my R1 I have to take it as what? R, okay? Then also my R2 is equal to what? 2 what? R. Do you understand? So I'm looking for F2. So what I'm going to do is to put in the formula by saying that F1 R1 square is equals to F2 R2 what? Square. Okay? So what you are going to do now is to substitute, okay? But what is my F1? My F1 is what? 20. What is my R1? My R1 is what? R. I'll just say R square, okay? Then is equals to, I'm looking for the second force. Now what is my R to my 2R or what? Squared, right? To give rise to 20R square is equals to what? F2. When you square, it's going to give me what? 4R what? Square, okay? So R square cancels what? R square. So F2 is equals to 20 over 4, of which when we divide is going to give me what? 5 Newton. So the correct option to this question is option D. Question 2. The thermometric property of mercury is based on the change in option A, resistance with temperature, option B, pressure with temperature, option C, density with temperature, option D, volume with temperature. So the correct option to this question is option D, which is what? Volume with temperature. Question 3. The conductivity of gases at low pressure can be termed as I. Hot cathode emission, II. Thermionic emission, III. Cold cathode emission, IV. Field emission, V. Photoelectric emission. Option A, II and III. Option B, III and IV. Option C, I and II. Option D, IV and V. The correct option to this question is option A, which is II and III. Question 4. The power of a lens in diopters is what? Option A, 2F. Option B, 1 over F. Option C, 3F. Option D, F. The correct question is B, which is 1 over F. Question 5. Some of the features of the human eye that greatly help to refract light entering the eye are: option A, lens and vitreous humor. Option B, aqueous humor and lens. Option C, cornea and lens. Option D, cornea and aqueous humor. So the correct option to this question is D, which is what? Cornea and aqueous humor. Question 6. Using the diagram above, look at the diagram here. The diagram above shows magnetic field due to option A, current carrying straight conductor. Option B, the Earth's meridian. Option C, solenoid. Option D, circular coil. The correct option is option A, which is current carrying straight conductor. Question 7. A stone is projected vertically upward with a velocity of 30 meters per second. How long does it take to reach the maximum height? And we are given g to be 10 meters per second square. Now, for us to solve this question, we know that our velocity is equal to 30 meters per second, okay? And we are given g to be what? 10 meters per second square. Looking for time to reach the maximum height. So the time t is equals to u over what? G, right? By saying that this is 30 divided by what? 10. By the time you cancel, the time becomes what? 3 seconds. I hope that is clear. Alright, but if you're asked to calculate the time of flight, that means the time for it to reach the maximum height and return back to the ground, that becomes 2 times of this time. Do you understand? Okay. Question 8. What is the resultant force on a body of mass 2 kg moving with acceleration 3 meters per second square? Now, knowing that F is equal to what? Ma. Now, my mass is given as what? 2, and my acceleration is given as what? 3. So that becomes 2 times what? 3 to give me 6 Newton. Alright. Question 9. The slope of a velocity time graph represents what quantity? Represent what? Acceleration. Okay? But the area under a velocity time graph represents what? Displacement. So in case you see something like that, okay, whereas the slope of a velocity time graph represents what? Acceleration. Alright. Question 10. A projectile is fired at an angle of 45 degrees. What is the shape of its path? The shape of its path is what? Parabola. Parabola. That is the shape of a projectile, okay? Question 11. A man pushes a box with a force of 15 Newton across a floor with no friction. If the box moves 4 meters, calculate the work done. Now, knowing that work done is equals to force multiplied by what? Distance, okay? Now, from the question, we are given a force of 15 Newton multiplied by distance is what? 4, okay? So how do we get the work done? The work done is equals to 50 times 4 is going to give us 200 joules. I hope that is clear. Which of these is a scalar quantity? A. Displacement. B. Velocity. C. Force. D. Speed. So the correct option to this question is option D, which is what? Speed. Question 13. What is the speed of a wave with frequency 500 Hz and wavelength 0.6 meters? Now, for us to get the speed of the wave, you know that the speed of the wave is equals to f lambda, right? This is just the formula. So what is my f? My f is frequency given as what? 500 multiplied by wavelength, which is 0.6, right? So for us to work it out, this is 0. Sorry. For us to work it out, this cancels this, right? And by the time you multiply 50 times 6 is going to give us what? 300 meters per second. Do we understand? So if you see a similar thing, this is how to solve it. Question 14. Sound waves are best described as what type of wave? They are what? Longitudinal. Longitudinal waves. Sound waves are what? Longitudinal waves, because they travel in a direction parallel to the vibration of the medium. Alright. Question 15. The frequency of a note produced by a string depends on what factors? So what are the factors that affect the frequency of a note? Number 1 is we have the length, we have the tension, and mass per unit length. So these are the factors that affect the frequency of a note by a string. And the string they are talking about in this context is what? Sonometer. I hope that is clear. Alright. In a ripple tank experiment, waterfront are observed to be closer together. What does this suggest about the frequency? The answer is increased frequency. Question 17. What property of a wave changes when it is refracted? The answer is direction and speed. Question 18. Which of the following is not a property of sound? A. Reflection. B. Refraction. C. Interference. D. Polarization. The answer is what? D, which is what? Polarization. Sound wave cannot be plane polarized. Question 19. In an echo experiment, the sound takes 2 seconds to return. If the speed of sound is 340 meters per second, what is the distance from the wall? And from this question, we are given t to be 2 seconds, okay? Then we have the speed to be what? 340 meters per second. Then you must know that for echo, the distance traveled is twice. That is, velocity is equals to 2 times the distance over what? Time, okay? Then therefore, since we are looking for the distance, that is velocity t over what? 2. So let's just substitute. My speed is what? 340 times my time is what? 2 divided by what? 2. Okay, now this cancels this, so the answer becomes 340 meters. Question 20. What device is used to convert sound wave into electric signal? The answer is microphone. Question 21. The range of human hearing is approximately 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. Question 22. Two waves of the same frequency and amplitude interfere destructively. What is the result? The answer is zero amplitude or cancellation. Or question 23. The process of heat transfer that requires no material medium is radiation. So radiation requires no material medium for what? Heat transfer. Okay. Question 24. What is the unit of specific latent heat? The answer is joules per kilograms. Okay? Because latent heat is the hidden heat that causes a change of state without a change in what? Temperature. Question 25. Which of these has the highest specific heat capacity? A. Lead. B. Iron. C. Copper. D. Water. The correct option is what? Water. Question 26. If a substance absorbs 1000 joules of heat and its temperature rises by 10 degrees Celsius, find the heat capacity. Now you must know that for the heat capacity, the quantity of heat H is equals to Cp what? Theta. Now for us to get the heat capacity, we can say that what? Cp is equals to the quantity of heat over what? Temperature. It's as simple as that. So what's the quantity of heat? The quantity of heat is 1000 divided by the temperature is what? 10. By the time we divide this, we cancel. So the value of our heat capacity 100 joules per Kelvin. Alright. Question 27. A body is said to be in thermal equilibrium when its temperature is uniform. Number 28. Why does a black surface become hotter than a white one under sunlight? The reason is because black surfaces absorb more radiation. Question 29. A metal expands when heated. This is an example of thermal expansion. The answer is thermal expansion. Please take note of that. Question 30. Which law relates the volume and temperature at constant pressure? The answer is Charles' law. Question 31. In a series circuit, how does the current behave? Current remains the same. Question 32. Which instrument is used to measure electric current? Ammeter. We use ammeter to measure the electric current. Question 34. The energy stored in a capacitor is given by E equals half CV square or half QV or half Q square over C. So any of these can go in case you are solving problems. Alright. Question 35. What happens to the pressure of a gas if the volume is halved at constant temperature? Looking at this question, they said that what happens to the pressure of a gas if the volume is halved at constant temperature? Once you hear at constant temperature, you're going to remember what? Boyle's law. Okay? So let's state what you have. Let's state what I have. My P1 is P, and I'm looking for the second what? Pressure. Okay? Then my V1 becomes V, where my V2 is what? Halved. That means is equals to V over what? 2, right? Now using Boyle's law, which states that what? P1 V1 is equals to what? P2 what? V2. Since you're looking for the second pressure, so P2 is equals to P1 V1 over what? V2. Is that clear? So let's just state in what I have. What's my P1? My P1 is what? P times what's my V2? My V2 is V. Okay? Then divided by what is my V2? My V2 is what? V over 2. That is V over 2, right? Then therefore you're going to have what? PV multiplied by 2 over what? V, right? Now this will cancel this. So it means that the pressure will be what? Will be doubled. So the answer means that the pressure will be what? Doubled. Alright. Question 36. What is the resistance of a wire that allows 2 amperes of current when 10 volts is applied? We are simply going to use Ohm's law by saying that V is equals to what? IR. So what is my V? My V is what? My V is 10. But since I'm looking for resistance, I'll make it the subject. So R is equals to V over what? I, right? So what is my V? My V is what? 10 divided by current, which is what? 2. So this is going to cancel out, and I have my resistance to be what? 5 ohms. I hope that is clear. Alright. Question 37. What is the function of a transformer? The function of a transformer is to step up or step down voltage. So I will say step up or step down voltage. Okay? So that is your answer. Alright. Question 38. The unit of electric power is what? Watt. Watt. Okay? Alright. Question 29. A diode allows current to flow in how many directions? One direction. So the answer is one direction. Question 40. The photoelectric effect demonstrates what property of light? The answer is particle-like. Okay? You know that light and matter behave as a wave and also as a particle, but photoelectric effect demonstrates its particle-like nature. Alright. Which particle is negatively charged? Electrons. Question 42. Magnetic field lines around a current carrying wire form what shape? Concentric. The answer is what? Concentric. I hope that is clear. Alright. Which of the following is not used in measuring radioactivity? Scintillation counter. B. Cloud chamber. C. Film barge. D. Electrophorus. So the correct answer is what? Electrophorus. Question 44. The highest frequency in a spectrum of light is A. Red. B. Yellow. C. Indigo. D. Blue. Now for us to be able to get this one correctly, you should remember what? Roy beef, okay? Now looking at this trend now, this is what? Radio wave, microwave, infrared, visible light. This visible light consists of what? These 7 colors, right? Now we have ultraviolet, X-rays and what? Gamma rays. Now the way they are arranged in the order of what? Increasing frequency or what? Decreasing wavelength, right? Now since we are working on this now, so since the trend is going this way, we have to look at what? The way that the trend is increasing. So frequency is increasing this way. It cannot be red, cannot be yellow, it cannot be blue, right? So the correct option is what? Indigo, because that's the one that has the highest frequency. So the option is option what? C. Question 45. The temperature gradient across a copper rod of thickness 0.02 meters maintained at 2 temperature junctions of 20 degrees Celsius and 80 degrees Celsius respectively is what? Now we have the following options. For us to get the temperature gradient, we should know the formula, right? Sorry. Temperature gradient is equal to what? The change in temperature over what? Length, right? So that is theta 2 minus theta 1 over what? Length. Now we are given 2 different temperatures. Now this is what? The first one is 20 degrees Celsius, while the second one is 80 degrees Celsius. So let's just substitute by saying this is 80 minus what? 20, right? We now divide it by our length, which is 0.02. Okay? So by the time you divide, you are going to have this is 60 over 0.02. Is that clear? Now that gives rise to 3 times 10 to the power of 3 Kelvin per meter. Is that clear? Now from what we've got so far, the correct option to this question is option B. If this video was able to help someone out there, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to get notified each time I post videos. And lastly, do not forget to share so that other students that are preparing for this same forthcoming exam can see it and learn from there. I will see you next time in the next one. Bye for now.